So this is the Dutch Schaefer Arnold premium format from Sideshow Collectibles, obviously from Predator, and you've probably seen most of the videos on YouTube by now. It's probably been out probably about 3-4 weeks. I picked it up about 3 weeks ago. I'm just, as usual, typically slow at doing my videos, but I thought I'd do this video and give you my thoughts on the piece. Sideshow must be slapping themselves on the back because, you know, I think all of the premium formats that they've made of Arnold Schwarzenegger have all turned out really well, and Arnold's likeness on all of them has been spot on. It really has. They've really nailed Arnold's likeness now, and it's typically become second nature to them now. And I missed out on those Terminator premium formats with regret, and when I saw the early photos of this piece, I thought, yeah, I've got to have this one. It looked amazing. Just the base, everything about it, the facial likeness, and the size of Arnold as well, because they were had the finger pointed at them on the Terminator 2 premium format that he wasn't bulky enough, he wasn't big enough. They put that right, of course, on the Terminator 1 premium format that was released, and then on this one they've improved on that even further, probably to the other extreme if anything, because Arnold on this premium format is huge, absolutely huge. Everything, his body, the width of his back, the chest, the arms, they are definitely probably too big, but nobody's complaining. I'm not complaining. He looks phenomenal. You know, they've got veins popping out of the biceps and down the forearms. You got lots of muscle definition along the forearms and the triceps. It just looks amazing. Sideshow continue their kind of texture and effect that they apply to the skin, which I think it works quite well on the whole. I don't have any problems with that. It adds a bit more interest to the piece. If I had to criticise it a little bit, I would say it's probably a little bit, the texture is probably a little bit too broad. It needs to be finer, but it's only a small niggle. I'd imagine if somebody had this effect on somebody's real arm, then they would definitely have a skin complaint. But I think if Sideshow can do this a little bit finer in the future, then it will be just perfect. And the other thing is colour as well. You know, if I look at some of my earlier premium formats, which I've actually got in this cabinet at the side of me, Ash from Army of Darkness and Lara Croft, the paint finish is very simple. It's very plain. It's probably just one colour for the skin tone, whereas Sideshow have continually been improving this, and I look at this premium format now, and there's obviously a lot more colours going on the skin, which gives the impression of shading, in particular around the muscle areas, and just to improve definition, they've used a slightly different colour. Moving up to the face, you've got obviously stubble around Arnold's face, and that is more heavily textured, obviously, to give the impression of stubble. And you've also got the war paint as well. So, and this is very subtle, but you've got some very subtle striping effects running across the face. Some very, very slight dark grey and reds running across there, and that works really well. I think any heavier, and it may have looked a little bit odd, but I've just got it just perfect. The eyes, I know some people mention that the eyes look a little bit off. I'll probably agree with that, but I'm not sure if it's maybe an optical illusion of some sort, because if you turn this at certain angles, it does look slightly off. But if you keep turning it and look at it from other angles, it looks absolutely fine, and there is nothing wrong with it. So the fact that all of them are exactly the same as well. I mean, I've got the exclusive head is over there, and that's exactly the same. I think it is right, and I think it's, as like I say, I think it's kind of an optical illusion. When you just look at it from a certain angle, it looks a little bit off. But I'm not going to dock any points for that. He comes in several pieces. You've got the main body, the head attaches on. The arms are already prefixed. The only thing that you have to attach on are the hands, and each hand has a different part of the gun. So the gun is actually in two separate pieces. So the top part of the gun, moving down to the handle, is secured obviously onto his right hand, and then the left hand holds the lower part of the gun, where you've got this black barrel running down, and then and they just plug into each other. I'd imagine if they hadn't got this bang on, then you would have trouble trying to get everything to line up, but I didn't have any trouble. I figured it out okay, and it works fine. Then the costume. Arnold is wearing combat trousers and a combat top. The top is made from kind of like a lycra type material, so it's quite stretchy, and it hugs Arnold's body and physique quite well. So you can see all the definition on the back of Arnold as well. He's also wearing an over gown of some sort, which is like a leather effect overall. And on the front of that, you've got some pockets. There's two pockets at the bottom and one pocket at the top, and then in addition you've got some buckles on there as well. The pocket's actually open, so they just operate on a Velcro fastening. So if you want to bulk out the pockets a little bit more, if you wanted to, you could put some tissue paper in there, or maybe some cotton wool, and fill them out a little bit. The trousers are tidy, yeah. All the stitching, I mean, considering all the pockets, areas, you know, all the stitching is so fine, and yet it's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. All the stitching is. You get the occasional strand of cotton hanging off in a couple of areas, but nothing major. He's wearing a couple of belts. You've got the one belt which is around his trousers, and then there's a slightly wider belt which is basically to hold all the accessories. The knife on the left hand side is just all sculpted. That is prefixed. You've got a strap at the bottom, and then a leather strap at the top. Moving around to the other side. Oops. Moving around to the other side, you've got the gun holster. The gun is separate. The gun comes in the box, so you just have to put the gun in the holster. It's just a plastic gun. It's neat enough. And then the only thing that you have to attach is the knife, and that's just a sculpted plastic or polystone knife, and that's held on by a couple of straps and buckles. Moving down to the bottom, the base, you've got a couple of separate vegetation that you have to plug into the base, which is basically a broad-leafed plant at the back, and then another one slightly forward. And obviously the top of the base is meant to look like the jungle. You've got various vines and tree roots and twigs and various stuff on the ground. There's a lot going on there actually. Charlie, username Bruce Campbell's Chin, he did a video on this. He's funny, Charlie, he makes me smile. He mentioned that you've got like a water effect or wetness near the root area at the back of the base, and it is quite a nice effect. If anything, I would have liked to have seen more of that kind of wet look on the base. I'm guessing that they've used some kind of a clear gloss resin over that to give the effect of moisture on the base. Actually, funnily enough, if you unplug Arnold from the base, Arnold's boot imprint, there is an absolute perfect boot imprint on the base where the boot goes down, and on there as well it's wet. So although you will never see this, Arnold have sculpted the bottom of the boot imprint on there and also made it look wet. So if you imagine when you push your boot into mud, it will leave a wet impression of a boot, and that's there, but of course you don't see it. But so credit where credit's due, you know, they've actually sculpted something that you can't even see. The lower part of the base is obviously connected with something Terminator, with something Predator. So I'm guessing it's meant to resemble maybe parts of the ship, the Predator ship, or some kind of Predator technology at least. And then in addition to that, you've got the vines and roots hanging down off the top of the base, swooshing down onto the sides of the base. I have to say that I think personally that premium formats are fantastic value. I don't consider them to be particularly expensive. I think Sideshow sold them at a value price, a good value price. They are value for money. It's got that they have the advantage of being bigger than 6 scale, which I personally prefer. I think the 6 scale stuff off Sideshow, and particular of course off Hot Toys, is superb, and I think Hot Toys probably do the best facial likenesses of all the companies. But this is just as good on the facial likeness, I have to say though. But I just like the overall scale of quarter scale. Okay, it's not as big as Cinemaquette, it's not 3rd scale, but it's a nice compromise, and for the money, I just can't grumble at these. I just cannot grumble. If you consider probably all the effort that has to go into putting one of these onto our display shelves, you know, Sideshow have to sort out the licensing for these, and no doubt they have to pay a lot of money for that. They have to get agreement from the studios, the movie makers, the actors, you know, and get approval for the likeness, how it looks, accuracy. All this has to be approved. Then of course they have to get these, then these have to be made, I think these are made in Asia, so all these are made in Asia, and they do a really good job over there. Then they have to be shipped all across the world, and it's just, when you consider how much work has gone into this, upfront work as well, with all trying to sort out the licensing, then it's good value. It really is good value. So I picked up the exclusive Dutch Schaefer, so I've got the extra head of course, and this has got the cigar in. Now I must admit, when I first saw this on the early photographs, I thought it looked a little bit awkward and I wasn't that keen on it. But now I've got the piece in hand, it does look a lot better, and it actually looks okay. Apart from that, it's the head is virtually identical. I would say on mine, the eyes are actually slightly better painted on the original head. There's not much in it, but I still think that the original head has got slightly better eyes. I will be displaying my Dutch with that head. It's my preference. I prefer it over this one. And if anyone is sort of concerned that they've missed out on the exclusive, then I wouldn't worry too much, because he just looks great with the original head anyway. So if there's any people out there who's still sort of on the fence and can't decide as to whether they should get this piece, then, well, what you're waiting for? You should get this piece as soon as possible, because it is so good. It's the best likeness, everything about Arnold that they've produced. It literally is the best version of Arnold premium format out there at the moment. So I'll get this now, because otherwise it's going to get expensive in a couple of years' time after everything is sold out. So that's it, that's the end of this review. As usual, let me know what you think, good or bad, I don't really mind, and I'll see you soon.